Dr. Ahmed, how do you see the timing of the visit of the Eritrean president to Egypt and the meeting with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi?
I totally agree with the statement, and I totally agree with what you said. The timing cannot be more important than what it is right now, given how unstable the entire international community is and the security situation in not just in this part of the world but globally.
Yes.
But what's very interesting is Egypt's position in ensuring that stability and peace, they exist hand in hand. The fact that Egypt's foreign policy has always been directed by cooperation and development. It's very important to ensure that, because without peace, without cooperation, there won't be any development. So it's very important to always highlight that Egypt's foreign policy has always been heading in that direction. And that builds on today's visit, because it comes within this greater framework. Because the president of Eritrea, President Isaias Afwerki, is not here in Egypt for tourism. Absolutely not.
Yes.
He's here to ensure that his country is better off through cooperating with Egypt. And if he didn't see value in cooperating with Egypt, he wouldn't have been here. And historically, Egypt has been, I wouldn't use the word helping, but Egypt has been cooperating and has been an integral developmental partner to many African nations, not only Eritrea, many other countries, and not just in the Horn of Africa. Maybe the Horn of Africa has a very special place in Egypt's heart because of its importance for maritime navigation, but Egypt has always played a very critical role in cooperating with other African countries to ensure their development, and thus Egypt always tries to reach a win-win situation that doesn't only help Egypt but also helps our counterparts and our partners in Africa.
Yes, you've mentioned a very important point, which is the freedom of navigation and the Horn of Africa in general, as well as maintaining the security and the stability of the African countries within this specific place of the African continent. How do you see the importance of the highlighting of the whole situation by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi throughout the visit for today?
Definitely, it's a very smart remark, because, as you said, it sheds the light on the elephant in the room. Because this is the place that will shape the foreign policy of this part of the region for decades to come. Because if navigation is not secured in this part of the world, then international trade will be negatively affected.
Yes.
And international trade cannot take any more hits, especially after what's happening in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz and so on. So definitely, again, Egypt is playing its significant role in ensuring peace and stability. And this is what Egypt has always been doing and will continue in doing years from now. Because without Egypt, I assure you that this part of the world, stability and security, wouldn't be part of the conversation we're having.
Yes.
But because of Egypt's role, there is maritime navigation, and Egypt in so many different scenarios ensured that by either through cooperation or through different means that ensured that not just Egypt's interests are met, but the international community's interests are met.
Yes, and switching to Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdulati, who received on Monday the Acting Commissioner General of the United Nations Relief and the Work Agency, the UNRWA, Christian Saunders. The meeting tackled the means of boosting cooperation with the agency to evolve the humanitarian situation of the Palestinian refugees in the Gaza Strip. In this context, Abdulati affirmed Egypt's full support for the UNRWA and its UN mandate, and expressed the appreciation for the agency's role in serving the refugees in the enclave. The top diplomat reaffirmed Egypt's firm stance against the displacement of the Palestinian people and condemned the Israeli practices that target the agency and undermine its ability to carry out its mission. For his part, Saunders reviewed the agency's perspective on strengthening the developmental role to improve the living conditions of the Palestinian refugees and continue its essential humanitarian role. Dr. Ahmed, how do you see the importance of Egypt giving a boost for the role of the UNRWA in Palestine in general and highlighting the importance of the Palestinian cause in specific?
I'll start by the second part of the question,
Yes.
which is the Palestinian cause. Because without Egypt, the Palestinian cause would have suffered a huge setback post-October 7. Because of Egypt's positions in supporting the Palestinian cause, in supporting the Palestinian state, in supporting the two-state solution, these are the key elements that ensure that, as you said, displacement doesn't happen, because that was the plan. But Egypt's, again, critical role in the region, ensuring that, again, using our tools, stability, peace, cooperation and development, are the tools and the skills that the Egyptian diplomacy needed to ensure that certain agendas do not succeed.
Yes.
So definitely Egypt's role has been critical and will always be critical, and I personally believe that without Egypt's continuous reiteration on the fact that Palestine is a state, the Palestinian cause would have suffered huge losses over the years. And that being said, it's automatically, and it does make sense for us to support the work of the UNRWA, because what is the main role of the UNRWA? Is supporting the Palestinian people and supporting them through all the miseries they have been going through, all the genocides that have been happening. Egypt's support for the UNRWA, actually, Egypt is filling a very big gap that the international community is not playing its role.
Yes.
The problem is the international community now, many of them are trying to be politically correct. However, they're not politically correct. They're doing what their humanity should be. They're not following what their humanity is calling them to do. So simply, Egypt's role, not just supporting the Palestinian cause, but ensuring that the UNRWA works. And Egypt's position has been obvious throughout, since October the 7th, by opening the borders. We've never shut down the borders.
Until now.
Exactly, up to this point.
Closed,
Egypt
yes.
has never shut down the borders. The borders are always open. We always ensure that they needed, whether it's food, whether it's medication, regardless, whatever is needed.
The convoys of Zaid al-Izza.
Exactly, by our Palestinian brothers and sisters are delivered to their doorstep, because this is Egypt's role. Egypt's role is to ensure that they have a decent life. Egypt's role is to ensure that peace prevails in Gaza, and not just in Gaza, but Egypt's role since the 70s is to ensure that the two-state solution does prevail, because this is the win-win situation for everyone.
Yes, and moving on, but still with the activities of Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdulati, as he expressed support for the negotiations path between the US and Iran. This came during a phone call with the French counterpart, Jean-Noël Barrot. During the call, Abdulati reviewed Cairo's efforts to contain the escalation in the Middle East, stressing keenness on reaching diplomatic settlements to the crisis. The two sides agreed on continuing with the coordination within the framework of the strategic ties between Egypt and France, and to support peace efforts and stability in the region.